What's going on? In this video, I'm going to go through the exact objection handling framework that I've used to personally close 1.2 million in cash collected in agency and coaching sales, and the exact same framework I use to coach hundreds of sales reps for the teams that I manage and place into businesses. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so first things first, you have pitched the prospect. You've not yet dropped the price, but they have no more questions. So it's very, very, very important to get rid of as many objections as possible before the price drop comes, because I see a lot of sales reps, a lot of founders make the mistake of just going straight into the price drop. They give them an objection and they don't really know where to go. So the goal here is to filter as many objections as possible. You know, a sieve or a colander, something you drain pasta out of. You can see it the exact same type of analogy. So temp check, what are we doing? First things first is we're asking, okay, do you feel like based on everything that I just went through, the whole program, the whole service, whatever, do you feel like this is the vehicle that can get you to insert XYZ goal? So do you feel like this is the vehicle that can get you to 20K months, replacing yourself in sales? Or do you feel like this is the vehicle that can actually get you to 10K months, retiring your family? And it's very important to listen in between the lines, because most of people, 90% will say, yeah, but not everyone means it. So it's very important to listen on their tonality and their confidence. If they say, yeah, 100%, if they seem pretty confident, you move on. And I'll go into that in a second. If they give you a tiny bit of uncertainty, super, super important to call it out. Call out that elephant in the room and essentially call out the bullshit, right? So if someone says, yeah, I think so, very important to say, you don't seem so certain. Is there anything holding you back? Because what you want to do is you want to get rid of any underlying objections or any uncertainties before the price drop. Because if not, it's going to be very complicated after the price drop. Okay, so you get into that. Maybe you get into an objection, you handle it, etc. And then once you feel like you've handled an objection at the temp check level, you want to say, okay, is there anything else apart from XYZ that's holding you back? No, 100%. And then even as a triple confirm, you essentially want to just confirm again, right? So you want to say, okay, sweet. So apart from that, you're 100% on the process. You know this can work for you and get you to XYZ goal. Yes. Then for a second temp check, the second filter that we're putting it through is the 1 in 10 rating. It's just another bit of security added before the price drop. Okay, sweet. So hypothetically, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you absolutely hate me, you want to jump off this call, it's not looking good for me. 10 being I want to rock and roll, I want to get started right this second. Where would you rate yourself? Okay. Usually if they rate any higher than a 9 with strong confidence as well, you can probably move on. Okay. If they rate anything lower than a 9, an 8, 7, 6, whatever, you want to ask, okay, sweet. So what is stopping you from being a 10? Okay. And this way you're essentially finding out what the concerns are, what are the objections, what are the things that could potentially stop this deal from moving forward. Okay, once you've done that and you've handled those objections and you've double confirmed there's nothing else, then you can move on to the price drop. Okay, so price drop, really simple. Okay, it's a one-time investment of XYZ. Bit of silence. I don't really agree with the, 2 minutes of silence waiting for them to speak. If they don't speak after, 15, 20 seconds, just say, okay, sweet. So you ready to get rocking and rolling, or what are your thoughts, right? Then here is where the magic happens. They will usually give you an objection, whether it be think about it, partner, price, etc. You diffuse. A lot of closers, a lot of salespeople, a lot of founders, they just jump down the necks, okay? There is a difference between pressure and holding someone accountable. Pressure doesn't sell. Pressure just drives someone away. Holding someone accountable, completely neutral, is really what's going to drive sales. Okay, so you diffuse, yeah, no worries whatsoever. And then this is probably the most important part of the whole process: probing and understanding. Let's say, I'll give you an example. You went to the doctors, okay, and you said, doc, I've got a headache. And they said, okay, sweet, you've got cancer. You probably wouldn't listen to them, right? And why is that? It's because they've not probed and effectively understood your diagnosis, right? They've not properly diagnosed you. So you would expect a doctor to say, okay, sweet, what type of headache is it? Is it sharp headaches? Is it achy headaches? Is it numb headaches? What are your symptoms? Do you know what I mean? And then when they fully understand the quote unquote objection, then they can give you a diagnosis. So it's the exact same in sales, right? Exact same in discovery. A lot of closers, a lot of founders, they assume they know what they're talking about. They assume they know what the prospect means. Okay? It's a lot of money. I need to think about things. I need to speak to my partner. But you don't understand what they actually mean behind that. I'll give you a few more examples. So when someone says, yeah, it's a lot of money, a lot of people might assume that it means it's like too much for them. They don't have the budget or they don't see the value, right? But it could mean so many things. A lot of money could mean they don't have the money, like I just said. It could mean they don't see the value in it. It could mean that they have the money, it's just a bit of a big jump, maybe fear, right? Or it could mean that they feel like it is a lot of money as opposed to what's out there, which of course is value. So you want to probe and understand the objection, okay? Partner objection. Okay, so how come you would need to speak to your partner? Because we run these decisions by each other. And then it's very important to try and invalidate that logic, right? And we'll get to that in a second, but you want to probe on their situation, okay? Do you need permission from your partner? Do you share a joint bank account? Whenever you make decisions, is this something you have to do? Right? Could you literally not make a decision without running it past your partner, right? Especially with guys, they don't really want to admit that their partner sort of runs them. Do you know what I mean? So very important to really get to the crux of this. After you probe and you fully understand what the objection is, you know exactly which route to go down. You know how to tackle it, right? As opposed to not really knowing what the objection is and you go down a different route and you're sort of digging yourself a hole. So for example, I need to think about it. Okay, no worries. I completely get that. Just out of interest, like what is it that you need to think about? I know you said that you're 100% on the process. You know this will get you to XYZ goal. So yeah, well, what's coming up for you? Oh yeah, I need to speak to my partner. All this. Do you need permission from your partner? You're probing. You're getting more info on their situation so you can handle it better. Okay. Then you isolate. Okay, sweet. So apart from that, is there anything else holding you back? The only thing is that you need to speak to your partner. You're 100% in the process. Yeah. Now you know this is the objection. Okay. This is why you invalidate the logic. Now, a lot of closers, a lot of founders, they rush for these reframes, right? These word tracks, which, yeah, they do work. But the first thing to do in any handling of objections is invalidate their logic. The prospect has probably told you things early on in the discovery that probably invalidates the logic of this objection. Okay? So if I give you an example, let's say someone says that they don't have time. They don't know if they have time. They'll do it next month. Okay? Simple. You just invalidate the logic and put them in a box where they can't really say anything else. Okay, sweet. Well, let's break it down. How many hours do you have in the day apart from when you work? Right? Do you have an hour spare a day? Yeah, I've got an hour spare. Okay, so that invalidates the logic. If you break down exactly how much time they have in terms of finances, let's say they have a lot of money, okay, or they don't think that it's worth it. They don't see the value. Okay. No worries. Well, let's say you have a guarantee of, I don't know, they can make 10K in the space of 6 months and it's a 5K product. Okay, sweet. So let's say that you 100% made 10K in the next 6 months. Do you believe that you can? Yes, 100%, based on a guarantee as well. So would it not be worth it to be able to put 5K down and almost double your money in 6 months? Would that not be a worthwhile investment? Right? It's a very, very basic example, but here what you're doing is you're literally invalidating their logic. You're breaking it down and getting rid of any logic that they think is valid in their mind, okay? And if this doesn't work, and if you clearly invalidated their logic, but it's still not getting through, that's when you can go to a more emotional level, okay? So I always start with logic and then get a bit more emotional, okay? And by emotional, I mean reframes and analogies. Now, reframes and analogies are a really good way to get your point across and make someone understand. Because in plain English, some people don't really comprehend a certain topic or a certain situation. So you want to really go over this in a reframe. So for example, good reframe that I have is for fear. Fear is good. I'll run it through with you guys now. So yeah, prospect says, it's just, I'm all over the place. This is a big decision for me. You know, it's all my hard work, savings, whatever. 100%, it's a big decision. I would even say it's, you know, a life-taking decision. Would you say what's coming up for you is, you know, a bit of nerves, a bit of fear? Yeah, not a lot. I hear you. Well, look, first time I invested in myself were 5K, right? And it was the world to me. The good news is that thing you're feeling right now, it's a good thing, right? Because there's two zones. There's the discomfort zone and there's a comfort zone. Okay. What do you think happens in the comfort zone? And they say, oh, yeah, not much happens, same situation, nothing changes. Okay. And what do you think happens in the discomfort zone? Yeah, I level up, I get to the next level. Yeah, 100% makes perfect sense, right? And do you feel like you can get to where you want to go, get to XYZ goal, if you carry on doing things in the comfort zone? No, no. Why? And it's very important to reiterate why and get them to admit why. Why do you feel that way? Oh, this, that. Okay, sweet. What happens if you carry on staying in the comfort zone for the next 3 years? Because I get it's really scary for you to make this jump. But I'm just trying to figure out, what do you feel like is going to be the result in the next 3 years if you don't do anything? This, that. Are you willing to settle for that? No. Why? And then the closing question, it comes back to ask for the sale. So what do you feel like you need to do right now so that you know that in the next 6 months you can be in a completely different situation at XYZ goal? So it's a very small analogy. It's a very small reframe, really just getting them to admit that they know they're not going to make any progress in the comfort zone. Okay. And then you ask for the sale. And then you can sort of carry on doing this. If they carry on giving you objections after you ask for the sale, you can carry on invalidating their logic. And that's why it's very important to have a really strong discovery. So you have all these data points, you have all the situational awareness that you know you can hold them accountable to. Okay. A good example is, let's say in discovery, you realize that the reason someone's not really made a change in the last 6-12 months is because, they've been a bit scared to invest in themselves, or they've just had analysis paralysis. Okay. And it comes here and they say they need to think about it. You can invalidate that logic by saying that, haven't you been doing that for the past 6 months, right? Haven't you been over analyzing your decisions and sort of overthinking things for the past 6 months? Right? You can sort of carry on doing this. I would say after 3, maybe 4 reframes and invalidating of logic, you should probably just leave it and just send it to a follow-up, because there is a line where you push them too hard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And after that is, of course, the closed sale. So just to recap, temp check, it's a 2-part temp check to double confirm, triple confirm that you've got rid of all the objections. Price drop, diffuse, probe and understanding. And this includes not assuming you know what an objection means. Like going deep and probing until you figure out 1,000% what the objection is. Isolate it, you confirm that is the objection, then you just invalidate the logic. Reframe, analogy, and then ask for the sale. Now, I have a reframe playbook, which has all of these reframes that you can use for B2C, for B2B, for different type of objections. I'm going to put it in the description of this video. So if you essentially need any help with the reframes, the objections, just download this, this document. But have a good one.